right? All the possible ways that we find, we try to use them to distract ourselves, right? To distract ourselves from the suffering that we are going through. Now, there is a difference between using ways to comfort yourself, and there is a difference, and there is a completely different way of self-alienating to just be away from the problem, right? अगर suppose मैं किसी difficult emotion से गुजर रही हूँ, right? I have two options at that time. One is that I sit with the problem, I sit with myself, and I try to analyze what is happening within me, right? And I have another option, which is to abandon myself, मैदान छोड़ के भाग जाना, और ये सोचना कि प्रॉब्लम अपने आप सॉल्व हो जाएगी. तो ऐसा होने वाला नहीं है. The hurt is not going to relieve itself. The reason that you are feeling pain is because it is a call for attention. जैसा मैंने लास्ट टाइम एक्सप्लेन किया था कि हमारा माइंड जो है वो छोटे बच्चे की तरह होता है जो आपसे अटेंशन चाह रहा है, और हम क्या करते हैं, हम उसको चुप करवाने की कोशिश करते हैं या अपने कान बंद कर लेते हैं कि तुम रोते रहो, मैं तुम्हारी बात नहीं सुनूंगी या मैं तुम्हारी बात नहीं सुनूंगा, right? So today we are going to learn a way to stay with ourselves. No matter how much we want to run away, today we will learn to practice to stay with ourselves, to stay with our emotions. And I want a promise from all of you today, right? And you can repeat after me. I promise to stay with myself,
to stay with myself,
stay with my emotions,
to stay with my emotions,
no matter how difficult it gets.
no matter how difficult it gets.
I promise
hold
myself, comfort myself, and stay strong for myself, no matter what it is that I'm going through.
No matter what it is I'm going through.
And this does not mean that staying strong. A lot of people have this misconception कि staying strong का मतलब होता है कि चाहे कितनी भी difficult situation हो, हम एक plastic smile हमेशा अपने चेहरे पे रखे, right? Which is almost a very creepy smile. जब आपको मन नहीं हो रहा होता तो भी जबरदस्ती अपने आप को smile करवाओ. I don't mean staying strong like that. Staying strong means not leaving yourself and going, right? आपको कोई भी छोड़ के चला जाए ना, आप उससे रिकवर कर सकते हो, कोई भी हो वर्ल्ड. लेकिन जब आप अपना साथ छोड़ के चले जाते हो तो उससे रिकवर करने में बहुत टाइम लग जाता है. तो इसलिए today we will learn to stay with ourselves, to hold ourselves in strength. अपनी सारी ताकत लगाकर अपने साथ खड़े रहना है. That is what we are going to learn now. Okay, so this practice is called RAIN, 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 right? And you can write it down in your notebook. RAIN, R stands for recognizing. Recognizing what is going on. Exactly चल क्या रहा है मेरे अंदर, right? हमारी जो feelings होती हैं वो एक messenger की तरह होती है, postman की तरह होती है, right? They let us know exactly what is going on deep within us. तो अगर कभी आपका दिन अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है या आप सुबह उठते हो और आपको लगता है कि यार फिर सुबह हो गई, अभी मुझे कॉलेज जाना पड़ेगा, काम पर जाना पड़ेगा, right? If you're waking up with that feeling or you're coming back home and you are just not in a very good feeling state, then it is an opportunity to then sit with yourself and first recognize what's going on, कि मुझे एग्जैक्टली फील क्या हो रहा है. जैसे ही हमें थोड़ा सा ना अच्छा फील नहीं होता है, हम तुरंत अपना कोई ना कोई डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म यूज कर लेते हैं, तुरंत अपने आप को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करने की कोशिश करते हैं. इससे पहले कि मेरा मूड और खराब हो, मैं एक नेटफ्लिक्स की वेब सीरीज देख लेती हूँ फटाफट, है ना. तो मेरा मूड डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो जाएगा और मैं भूल जाऊंगी कि कोई प्रॉब्लम थी. या फिर जैसे ही हमारा मूड खराब होने लगता है, हम स्विगी खोल के कोई ना कोई डिश अच्छी सी ऑर्डर कर लेते हैं, पिज्जा ऑर्डर कर लेते हैं, एंड आई फॉरगेट अबाउट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, राइट. So these are all the ways in which you are running from yourself. So instead of running from yourself, we will learn to recognize our emotions, right? So R stands for recognizing what is it that's actually going on, what is happening inside me right now. And I'm actually going to give you all a suggestion, or you can consider it a homework or whatever you, or a home project, right? Is I want you to work on your feeling vocabulary. हम हमारी vocabulary feelings को लेकर इतनी weak है कि हम recognize ही नहीं कर पाते हैं कि हमें exactly feel क्या हो रहा है. So if I'm feeling scared, I will, misunderstand it as something completely different, right? So अपनी feeling vocabulary को बढ़ाइए जितना हो सकता है. Try to go online and find as many words as you can related to feelings, और उनकी डेफिनेशन को पढ़िए और समझिए, ताकि जब आप ये प्रैक्टिस करें तो आप एग्जैक्टली पॉइंट आउट कर सके कि मुझे क्या फील हो रहा है, राइट. द सेकेंड इज, so it's rain, right? RAIN, rain. So A stands for allowing the experience to just be there. Last time हमने एक प्रैक्टिस की थी, soften, soothe and allow, right? Or soften, allow and love. In the same way, in today's practice, A stands for allowing the experience to just be there. अगर मुझे embarrassed feel हो रहा है, scared feel हो रहा है, angry feel हो रहा है, can I just let that emotion be, right? और ये हमारी जो टेंडेंसी होती है डिफिकल्ट इमोशंस को शन अवे करने की, ये हम बहुत छोटी एज से सीख जाते हैं. I was talking to my best friend the other day, and we were talking about how when we are little kids, जब हम छोटे होते हैं, तो हम जब रोते हैं तो हमें एकदम से चुप कराया जाता है कि रो मत, रोना बुरी बात है, एवरीवन टेल्स अस डोंट क्राई, राइट. रोना बहुत बुरी बात है, हमें मार भी पड़ती है और फिर बोला जाता है रो भी मत, राइट. और अगर आप कभी क्लास में लास्ट आ गए, आपके मार्क्स कम आ गए, तो हमें क्या बोला जाता था कि रो मत, राइट. नेक्स्ट टाइम और मेहनत करना, रोने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. नेक्स्ट टाइम हम मेहनत करेंगे, लेकिन उसके पहले उस पूरे इमोशन को प्रोसेस करना भी तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. नहीं तो नेक्स्ट टाइम मेहनत करने की ताकत कहाँ से आएगी, राइट. सो दैट इज व्हाई ए स्टैंड्स फॉर अलाउइंग द एक्सपीरियंस टू जस्ट बी देयर. कि मुझे अगर खराब लग रहा है आज, तो लग रहा है, मेरा मूड आज खराब है तो है, राइट. डोंट ट्राई टू फाइट इट. आप उसको जितना फाइट करोगे ना, वो उतनी देर तक अड़ा रहेगा वहां पर, राइट. द थर्ड इज RAI. I stands for investigation. Investigating what is it that I need right now. So ये इमोशन जो मैं फील कर रही हूं, ये क्यों फील कर रही हूं, इसके पीछे का क्या इंटेंशन है, राइट. मैंने कहा जैसे इमोशंस वॉचमैन नहीं, पोस्टमैन होते हैं, राइट. सो दे कम एंड टेल यू अबाउट what is actually happening within you. They are like messengers. So वो मैसेज लेकर आया है, तो आप वो मैसेज खोलकर तो देखो कि वो क्या बोलना चाह रहा है, राइट. दैट स्टैंड्स फॉर इन्वेस्टिगेशन, and that has to be done with a lot of care. That has to be done with a lot of love, right. And the last step of rain is N. N stands for nurture. Nurture means, जैसे आपके पास एक छोटा सा, अगर मैं आपको सैपलिंग दूं और मैं कहूं कि आपको ना अब इसकी देखभाल करनी है, राइट. What are you going to do? आप उसको धूप दिखाओगे, you will give it water every day, you will give it manure every day, आप उसको अच्छी अच्छी चीजें यूज करोगे ताकि वो प्लांट बहुत अच्छा हो जाए, बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाए. That is called nurturing, right? So nurturing is the last step of rain. So rain is a process that we will learn today. And I really invite you to at least practice it once in a day. कई बार मुझे लोग कहते हैं कि हमने रेन प्रैक्टिस किया, एक बार किया, दो बार किया, लेकिन कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ा, कुछ नहीं हुआ. आपका प्लांट एक दिन में थोड़ी बड़ा हो जाता है, राइट? आप सीड आज प्लांट करते हो, उसको आपको कितने दिन तक उस पर ध्यान देना पड़ता है, तब जाकर वो एक स्ट्रॉन्ग प्लांट बनता है, राइट? सो उसी तरह आपके अंदर जो आप ये सीड प्लांट कर रहे हो, सेल्फ केयर का, सेल्फ कंपैशन का, उस सीड को आपको रोज उस पर पानी डालना पड़ेगा, रोज उस पर ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. धीरे धीरे वो डेवलप होगा. I started researching about self compassion, I think 4 5 years back. 5 years back was the first time when I got trained in self compassion, right? और 5 सालों में अगर मैं आज कहूँ कि have I become a completely self compassionate person, then I will say no. I have come a long way. I have really come a long way, but am I completely perfect in self compassion? No. I'm still learning. और मुझे रोज उस पौधे पर पानी डालना पड़ता है ताकि वो खिलता रहे, राइट? ताकि वो बड़ा होता रहे. So in the same way, I'm going to invite all of you that don't just learn this practice today, but you will have to apply it and give it time every day so that आप उस पर उसके benefits सच में ले सको, right? So let us all sit comfortably, right? If you want to get some water for yourself, you can quickly go and get some water. Let's take 5 deep breaths, deeply nourishing breaths. Fill your belly with nourishing air, nourishing breath, and relax yourself. Breathing in, I relax myself. Breathing out, I go deeper into this relaxation. Breathing in, I relax myself. Breathing out, I go deeper into this relaxation. Now you can gently close your eyes. Slowly and steadily, bring your awareness to your breath. Notice the way you breathe in and the way you breathe out. Now, let's begin the process of rain. Rain is a process that feels like standing in an open field with raindrops falling on you on a beautiful evening, raindrops falling all over you, soothing you, cleansing you, and relaxing you. First step of rain is to recognize what's happening within me. So, right now, I would like you to bring your attention to any one concern or difficulty that you are presently dealing with. Maybe a concern about what has happened in the past, or maybe you are concerned about what will happen in the future. या फिर शायद आपकी लाइफ में अभी कुछ ऐसा चल रहा है जो आपको परेशान कर रहा है. And I want you to recognize कि जब आप इस कंसर्न, इस परेशानी के बारे में सोचते हैं, what emotions, what feelings are arising within you. I invite you to recognize the emotion. I would like you to tell yourself, right now, I am feeling, and then complete the sentence with whatever it is that you're feeling right now. Some of you will also notice that you're not only feeling one emotion, but a combination of a lot of emotions. So perhaps you are also feeling scared, but angry at the same time. Maybe you're a little worried, but you're also a little hesitant right now. So it could be a combination of feelings. It could be a group of feelings that you're feeling at the same time. And it's completely normal and it's completely okay. So then you can say that I am feeling like this, but I'm also feeling, and then complete the sentence. Once you have recognized the emotion, the next step is to allow. Allow the emotion to just be there. I can understand that probably brings up a lot of discomfort for some of you, but it's okay. We have to allow the pain and the emotion to be there. We have learned about using our breath in the last session. I would like you to use your breath as a way to hold space for that emotion. So आप अपनी breath को use करिए to make space for that emotion. अगर कोई ऐसा difficult emotion है जो बहुत सारी space चाह रहा है, give it that space. Give it that area to expand, to just be there. You can repeat this in your mind. I allow my emotions to be present in my heart without judging them and without shutting them away. I allow my emotions to take up the space that they want to take. And now we will slowly move to the third part of RAIN, which is investigating with care. So, very gently, with a very loving tone, I'd like you to ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? You can all repeat this in your mind. What is it that I need right now? मुझे इस वक्त क्या चाहिए? And let your emotions give you an answer. Let your feelings give you an answer. Some of you might notice that the answer is that I need love, or that I need acceptance, or that I need to be heard. So really spend a minute or two with yourself और अपने आप से पूछिए कि मुझे इस वक्त किस चीज की सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत है. Once you have that answer, once you know what is it that you really need, we will move on to the next step with our answer. And the last step is nurture. तो अगर आपका जवाब आया that I need to feel loved right now, I want you to use the gestures that we learned the last time. We learned 3 gestures: placing your hand on your heart, or placing your face on your hands, or giving yourself a big warm hug. Use any of these 3 gestures, whichever you feel is comfortable. If you want to hug yourself, or if you want to place your hand on your heart. And once you've done that, I want you to extend that which you need to yourself. So if you need to feel accepted, then you can repeat after me. May I feel accepted. May I feel accepted. If you want to feel love, if love is what you need right now, then you can repeat after me. May I extend my love to myself. May I feel loved. And if your need is to feel heard, अगर आप चाहते हैं कि कोई आपको सुने, आपको समझे, आप जो कहना चाह रहे हैं उसको ध्यान से सुने, उसको समझने की कोशिश करें, then you can repeat after me. May I feel heard and understood. May I feel heard and understood. And keep repeating these phrases to yourself over and over again till the point you feel that feeling completely engulfing your heart. जब तक आप उस फीलिंग में बिल्कुल अपने आप को पूरी तरह उसमें महसूस नहीं कर पा रहे, तब तक इस फ्रेज को रिपीट करते रहिए. May I feel loved. May I truly feel heard. Just like a mother holds her child in infinite love, in the same way, hold your heart in your embrace. Hold your heart in that love, in that compassion. As you are providing yourself with that care, that love, that acceptance, extend and hold yourself in compassion. अपने लिए create that beautiful feeling of compassion in your heart and repeat after me. Just like everyone else, I also need just the basics. I also need to feel loved. I also need to feel accepted. I also need to feel heard. Just like every other human in this world, I also want to feel respected and accepted. It's not too much that I'm asking for. May I extend my compassion towards myself. May I extend my love towards myself. May I extend my acceptance towards myself. Repeat after me. Just like every other human, I am also imperfect. I am also flawed. मेरे अंदर भी कुछ कमियां हैं, मेरी भी कुछ कमजोरियां हैं. But just like every other human, I also deserve to be loved. I also deserve to be cared for. I also deserve to be nurtured. I deserve my love and compassion. As you tell yourself these phrases, let your breath completely soak you in your own love. जैसे बारिश में खड़ा हुआ एक इंसान पूरी तरह से बारिश में भीग जाता है, gets completely soaked in the rain. Similarly, let your breath, let yourself completely soak you in your own love. If you like, you can also visualize a beautiful, soft pink colored light all around you. Like a beautiful heart, your own love surrounding you completely. This love is unconditional. This love is going to last through every condition and in every condition. Now slowly come back to your breath. Become aware of how your breath is nourishing you, is loving you. With every inhalation you make, हर बार जब आप सांस ले रहे हैं, breathe in that love. Every time you breathe out, let that love flow to every single cell of your body. आपके शरीर के हर एक हिस्से में उस प्यार को, उस अटेंशन को पहुंचने दीजिए. Breathing in, I breathe in love. Breathing out, I let this love reach every part of my body, especially those parts of your body that are in pain. Let love reach there. Let this affection, let this attention, let this respect reach every part of your body, every cell of your body. Now, slowly, let's take 3 deep breaths and breathe out with a sigh. Breathe in and breathe out with a sigh. Breathe in again and breathe out with a sigh. Let your hands rest. Slowly, taking your time, you can open your eyes. Now let's take 2-3 minutes to just make a note of what is it that we are feeling right now. What are the emotions that you are experiencing? What are your current thoughts? Just make a note of it. The reason I'm asking you to make a note of it is because अगली बार जब आप कोई ऐसा इमोशन एक्सपीरियंस करेंगे जो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा, you will be able to remind yourself that you used your own love. आपने खुद अपने आप को soothe और calm feel करवाया, right? You were able to soothe yourself, you were able to calm yourself. And it will remind you that the next time you are going through a crisis, you don't have to run away from yourself, right? So a lot of people, when I teach them self-compassion, they come and tell me that, self-compassion is going to make us very lazy. If I'm always kind to myself, तो मैं बहुत lazy बन जाऊंगी, right? Because if I don't want to do something, I'll be like, हाँ ठीक है, नहीं करने का मन है तो मत करो, right? सोने का मन है तो सो जाओ, right? But self-compassion is not about just soothing yourself. Self-compassion also has a very powerful aspect involved, right? आपने Chinese sign देखा होगा yin and yang का, right? One side is black, one side is white. So yin and yang in self-compassion is not only soothing and relaxing yourself, but also learning to motivate yourself, learning to protect yourself learning to provide for yourself. When I teach self-compassion, I always tell the participants that think of the example of a mama bear. Okay, mama bear जो होती है, जो छोटे bear जब उनके छोटे bear होते हैं, छोटे छोटे बच्चे होते हैं और उनको उसको protect करना होता है, and if she sees that somebody is threatening her child, right, she becomes really fierce. She does not let anybody attack her children, right? So in the same way, self-compassion is also about learning to protect yourself, learning to draw boundaries. Last time किसी ने पूछा था that हम सामने वाले के लिए अच्छा करते जाएं, लेकिन हमें कोई सामने से अच्छा treat ना करे, so what should we do? I think there was a question, right? And I had told you about boundaries. What does it mean to protect your boundaries? Protecting our boundaries is one of the most important aspects of self-care, because giving without boundaries or compassion without boundaries is self-destruction, right? So when the mama bear notices कि कोई threat आ रहा है बाहर से, right, she immediately says, no, you cannot come closer to my children, right? And she's very, very strong. So I want you to, we all will learn this today. We all will stand and we will do a practice, right? This practice is about learning to draw boundaries, right? So let's all stand together, right? हमने एक aspect तो सीख लिया है self compassion का, where we hug ourselves and we hold ourselves, right? But we are going to learn another very important way of protecting ourselves, and that is by saying no, right? So जब आप किसी से, अगर आप किसी से लड़ने जा रहे हो, तो आप ऐसे खड़े रहोगे क्या? नहीं. You're going to stand strong. You're going to stand with a lot of strength, right? So I want all of you to stand up like you're ready to fight, okay? And you can bend your knees a little bit, right? And now think of a threat, of something, of a situation where you are not drawing a boundary, whether it is from outside or from inside. कभी कभी हमें बाहर से ज्यादा इंटरनल ज्यादा थ्रेट होता है, राइट? हमारे खुद के क्रिटिसिज्म का, हमारे खुद के नेगेटिव थॉट्स का, राइट? सो थिंक ऑफ अ सिचुएशन वेयर यू आर नॉट प्रोटेक्टिंग योरसेल्फ, राइट? एवरीवन रेडी? या? एंड नाउ we are going to say no very loudly. What are we going to say? We're going to say no. So think of that situation, think of that threat जो शायद बाहर से आ रहा है या अंदर से आ रहा है. Maybe somebody is trying to threaten you from outside or inside, right? And as soon as you think of that thought or you think of that situation, we will say no. Okay, so on the count of 3 we will say no very loudly. दोनों हाथ यूज करके as if you are blocking that. Okay, ready everyone? 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. Again. No. Right? With all your force. पूरे force use करके no कहना. 1, 2, 3. No. Right? And what are you doing? Feel how you feel in this moment when you say no to that. Right? Somebody is crossing your boundaries and you are saying no. Right? What are you doing? You are protecting yourself. You are learning to stand up for yourself, right? So everyone sit down. So whenever you feel you are in a situation where your own thoughts are defeating you, right? Where your own inner critic is being like, तुमसे तो नहीं हो पाएगा, सब कर लेंगे, देखना तुम ही नहीं कर पाओगे, right? Whatever shame, fear that we've been conditioned to believe, हम उसको भी no कहेंगे. कोई भी ऐसा नेगेटिव थॉट आए जो आपको self-defeating लगता हो, just say no to that, right? With all your strength, अपना रूम बंद करो, stand as if you are ready to fight and just loudly say no to it, right? और थ्रेट हमेशा, जैसे मैंने कहा, बाहर से नहीं आता है, थ्रेट हमारे अंदर से भी आता है, राइट? और मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम अंदर से ही आता है, राइट? जब हम अपने आप को सेल्फ डिफीटिंग थॉट से बिल्कुल, वी जस्ट allow those self-defeating thoughts to completely overpower us, right? And what do? We go into that negative self-talk कि देखना सब लोग वो एग्जाम क्लियर कर लेंगे, देखना मैं ही नहीं कर पाऊंगा, सबकी अच्छी जॉब लग जाएगी, देखना मेरी ही नहीं लगेगी, सबकी लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, सिर्फ मेरी लाइफ में, राइट? Whenever you notice that these thoughts arise in your mind, you have to be very strong and say no to it, right? Because understanding where is it that I need to provide for myself and how is it that I need to provide for myself, that is very important. There are going to be many instances in your life where you will have to motivate yourself, where you will have to let yourself use your own strength to face a situation, right? और आपने घर में देखा होगा, राइट? यू हैव बोथ द एस्पेक्ट्स. आपके पेरेंट्स सिर्फ आपको केयर नहीं करते कि कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, आपको प्रॉब्लम है, कोई बात नहीं, आप ना घर पे रहना, आप कभी बाहर मत जाना, ठीक है? आपको बाहर प्रॉब्लम हो रही है ना, आप घर पे बैठे रहो, राइट? नो, योर पेरेंट्स डोंट डू दैट, राइट? दे कंफर्ट यू, दे soothe you, but they also teach you to go and face the situation, right? So we have to learn both the feminine aspect of self-compassion and the masculine aspect of self-compassion. So we're going to just take 5 more minutes, right? And we're going to do a practice where we will think of a situation where you are defeating yourself. So think of any situation where you are letting yourself get consumed with self-defeating thoughts. Or maybe a habit of yours. आपकी कोई ऐसी habit जो आपको आगे बढ़ने नहीं दे रही है. Maybe it is procrastination, or it could be self-doubt. Any habit of yours that is not letting you move ahead, right? Or in any way in which you are defeating yourself. Think of that habit. Think of that, pattern of yours. And then we will just do a very simple practice based in self-compassion that you can do every time to motivate yourself, right? So everyone ready? Yeah. So sit comfortably, right? Keep your back straight. For this exercise, we're not going to keep our backs on the wall. We are going to sit straight and we are going to sit completely alert. So take a few deep breaths. And relax yourself. But at the same time, remain alert of your surroundings and remain alert of your internal environment. So become aware of it. Now, as you breathe in, you will repeat after me. I breathe in strength. And as you breathe out, you will say, I'm becoming stronger. So breathing in, I breathe in strength. Breathing out, I'm becoming stronger. Now, think of that situation. Think of that habit that you are struggling with. Become aware of it. Recognize that it is present in your system. Without judging yourself for having that pattern. This is a very, very crucial step. Recognizing that I have this habit, but not making a judgment or criticizing yourself for having that habit. Just become aware that you have this pattern. That is not a very healthy pattern. And you can repeat this in your mind. I recognize, or I can see, that I have a habit of, and then fill in the blank. Once you have recognized it, let us offer it common humanity. Understand that you are not the only human being on this earth who is struggling with this habit. Whatever that habit may be, whatever it is that you think you have done, whatever you think you have experienced due to which this habit was formed, no matter what you struggled with in the past, no matter what it is that you're struggling with in the present, no matter how difficult the habit seems, understand it that you're not the only person who is struggling with this habit or this pattern. So repeat after me. I can see that I have a habit of, and then fill in the blank. And yet, I also know that there are many more who are struggling just like me. Every other human on this planet is also struggling with some or the other weakness or unhealthy habit. And now offer yourself compassion. So sit straight. And I want you to place one hand on your shoulder. Place one hand on your shoulder and take your name and say, Dear Swaruti. So you'll take your name. I know that you have this habit that you're struggling with. I know that you tend to do this. And then fill in the blank. What do you do? I know that this is a very unhealthy pattern. And it is not helping me. This habit is not helping me. It is not making me stronger. It is standing in my way. And I know that I can change this. Yes, Swaruti, this habit is not helping me. Therefore, today, I choose to change this habit into something healthier. I choose to make healthier decisions. I will make a decision that is in the best of my interest and the interest of others. I will choose the healthiest option for myself. I know that I have the strength to make this change. May I be strong. May I feel the strength that I need. May I love myself enough to make this change. May I care for myself enough to make this change. Now, relax your hands. And feel that strength within yourself. to make this change. And before you think of anything else, I want you to open your eyes and write down 3 ways in which you are going to make better decisions. 3 to 5 ways in which you are going to change this habit. So if your habit, for example, is to procrastinate, what are the 3 ways in which you are going to help yourself? What are the 3 ways in which you're going to change this habit in your practical life? Write down those 3 ways in the notebook. Right. So this is something that you can practice again and again when you feel this habit or pattern coming back to you, because it's not going to just go away in one day. But if you feel that it's still sticking around, then I would really encourage you to practice it again and again. Right? Great. So these were the practices that I had to share with all of you today. And thank you so much for following through. And I had an absolutely wonderful time with all of you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I hope I'm audible. Yeah, so thank you very much, ma'am, for this very, very wonderful session. In fact, I just, I don't know, I just wanted to cry in between because there has been, something which has been bothering and probably to every one of us. I just wanted to literally cry in between, and this session has literally helped me a lot because when I sat, when the session was starting, I was literally in turmoil internally, and now I'm just feeling very relaxed. I'm so grateful to you, and I hope this audience might be having, our dear audience might be having several questions to ask. So shall we move to the question answer session? All right, so I guess I'll be
One
moderating this.
thing before we go, those of you who are want to leave, please, if you're getting late for something else, then it's not mandatory. Only those of you who have questions can stay back. The rest of you, it's okay even if you leave. It's completely fine.
Yeah, And before that, we would like to make one announcement as well. It would be really appreciated if the audience, the people that are present right now, can follow us, or can, be a part of the community by the links that we have shared in the chat box, so that for further, you guys just can easily access the sessions that we conduct on daily, weekly basis. So that would be really appreciated. The links are there in the chat box itself. All right, so moving forward, Ayush ma'am wants to ask something. He says that, I guess this question, he has asked three questions, and the very first question is probably pertaining to the rain exercise that we have done. He says, what if one doesn't get the answer? What it still want? I guess he just want to, ask this, the investigation that we done, that we do, what we exactly need when we see ourselves in problem. So I guess this question is pertaining to that. And he asks, secondly, what if one just wants to leave everything aside and walk away, leaving everything? And his third question is, and what if the change in life is becoming quite scary, and why it happens, and how to tackle it?
So let's go to the first question. I think all the three questions are interlinked. The first question that you asked, Ayush, right, was about what if you don't get an answer, right? And that happens a lot. It's completely fine if you don't get an answer during rain, because sometimes, in order to reach that space where we can listen to what we truly want, it in itself takes a lot of time. Sometimes we are so detached from ourselves in that moment, in our difficulty, in our crisis, कि हमें नहीं पता चलता है कि हमें क्या चाहिए, right? Because the answer comes from a space of clarity. और clarity तक पहुंचने के लिए हमें confusion से गुजरना पड़ता है. So if the answer doesn't come back, go back to step one. Go back to step one and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And whatever it is that you're feeling, let yourself be with that feeling. So if you can't reach I, it's okay. Go back to R, go back to A. Right? That is one thing. Another thing is, we all humans, and I can say that without batting an eyelid, is that we all need the few basic things no matter where we are in the world and no matter what we are doing. And those few things are love, respect, affection, care. Yeah, these are things that we all need. चाहे हम कहीं भी हो, कुछ भी कर रहे हो. So even if you don't get an answer, you can at least give yourself love. You can at least give yourself compassion. Give yourself compassion for the fact that you are confused, right? And you don't know. Yeah. Another question I think he asked was, what if you want to run away? There are times when you want to run away from a situation. I know a lot of people that I counsel every day who I know just want to leave that situation and want to go away as soon as possible, right? Now, it is not in my capacity to take you out of that situation that you're going through, right? Maybe you feel that even you don't have the capacity to get out of the situation. But no matter what crisis you are, in the middle of it, can you at least be there for yourself, right? Can you at least stay with yourself? Because the crisis is there today. It may not last tomorrow. It may not be there tomorrow, right? We don't know when it will end. But in midst of that, can I offer myself compassion because I deserve it, right? Or Ayush, I want you to think of an analogy. अगर आपका बेस्ट फ्रेंड बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम में होता, राइट, बहुत बड़े क्राइसिस में होता, और वो आपको कहता कि यार आई वॉन्ट यू टू बी देयर विथ मी, आई वॉन्ट यू टू स्टैंड बाय मी, क्या आप उसको ऐसा बोलते, तुम्हारी तो प्रॉब्लम यार इतनी बड़ी है कि मैं तो तुम्हारा साथ नहीं देने वाला, राइट? यू वुडंट डू दैट, राइट? Even if your friend is grieving or struggling, you would still want to be there, not because आपके वहां रहने से प्रॉब्लम चली जाएगी, but at least आपके फ्रेंड को स्ट्रेंथ मिलेगी to go through that problem. In the same way, when you are struggling, maybe offering compassion to yourself will not change that problem or will not make the problem go away, but at least it will give you the strength to go through it, right? I think there was somebody who wanted to unmute themselves and ask a question. Who was it? In the chat box, somebody has shared that they wanted to unmute themselves. I think it was Akshata. No, this one, I don't know who was it. I just saw somebody making that request.
The one who made that request, if it is feasible for them, can they please?
Aryansha. I think Aryansha. Yeah. Aryansha. Yeah. I think we've left the meeting, maybe.
Yeah. Those who are remaining in the meeting, if they want to ask their questions directly, they can raise their hands and we'll unmute that participant. Those who want to ask questions directly to ma'am, please go ahead. We really appreciate that. They can raise their hand for that matter. If Aryanshi is still there in the meeting, they can please do raise their hand. Yeah, Shraddha Khare raised her hand. I would like to request the hosts of the meeting to kindly unmute them.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, sometimes I ran away from my problems, and I am getting very depressed and within distress. So that time, what can I do?
तो आप ये कह रहे हो कि आप अपनी प्रॉब्लम से भागने की कोशिश करते हो जब आप
Yes.
जाते हो, right? It's a very natural and a very common mechanism to do that, right? We are taught flight and fight. So fight and flight is not या तो हम प्रॉब्लम से लड़ने की कोशिश करते हैं या उससे भागने की कोशिश करते हैं, right? So Shraddha, it's a very natural mechanism that we have. Lekin it is something that we have learned over the years, but it need not necessarily be a healthy mechanism, right? और हमें अगर ऐसा लग रहा है कि ये हमारी हैबिट है, ये हमारी टेंडेंसी है, so with time, with giving attention, like I said, every day, we can change this pattern. So हो सकता है आपकी टेंडेंसी हो भागने की. What I would also recommend is that अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं, मैं प्रॉब्लम्स या क्राइसिस के टाइम पे मैं भागने की कोशिश करती हूँ, right? What I would invite you to do is try to do this practice when you are feeling a little balanced and a little composed, right? So that once you learn the skill, then you can apply it whenever you need, right? हम प्रॉब्लम के बीच में, अगर आप एग्जाम हॉल में बैठ के बुक्स खोल के नहीं पढ़ते हो ना, आप पहले से पढ़ के जाते हो घर से, राइट? वो क्यों पढ़ के जाते हो? क्योंकि एग्जाम हॉल में आपको जो भी एग्जाम मतलब क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाएंगे, यू शुड बी एबल टू आंसर देम. सो आप एग्जाम के बीच में पढ़ाई नहीं करते हो, राइट? एग्जाम से पहले करते हो. सो इन द सेम वे यू हैव टू ट्रेन योरसेल्फ before the problem arises, so that during the crisis you are able to use it, right? और हो सकता है कि आपको अपने साथ थोड़ी ज्यादा देर बैठना पड़े, right? Like I said, if you can't go through the next steps of rain, just stay with the first step. Just let yourself recognize what's happening, right? बाकी के steps automatically आते जाएंगे, right?
Okay. Thank you so much.
At the same time, I guess Satvik Thakral also wants to ask some question. Rashi will take your question after him. Satvik, if you are here, you can
Yeah.
unmute yourself. All right.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Uh, First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful session. I'm really grateful. Some of the very practical advices here. Secondly, I'm very grateful. I'm in a stable position right now, on a fine salary and doing a great job. What if I want to usher change in some of my relatives? I'll tell you a classic example. I have a sister who is studying, not in Delhi right now. She gets quite panicky, feels quite low. She's currently pursuing an MBA, and the MBA scene is quite scary, right? We have a cutthroat competition, top of the top most people uh, just wishing to eat each other's, cut each other's throat. So she gets quite scared and tries literally. On the top of it, she's in a placement cell, and there we have a competition that who places most of the students first. She is putting an effort right now, but she hasn't been able to. So she quite often tells to me that she does not feel, does not deserve to get the appreciation they put shower on them. And she is often in a not even this, she is often feeling low, that she doesn't deserve the things that others are doing, or she doesn't deserve the love people are putting onto him. What should I tell her? How do I approach this situation?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I was just telling this to somebody yesterday that sometimes our pain and the wounds that we have been carrying through our lifetime, from the time we are born to the time we grow up. First of all, we need to understand that these wounds can remain with us for a very long time, even after years after the incident has happened, right? And the incidents that happen in our life, small, big, they all have an impact on our overall personality and the way we look at the world. Apart from that, we also need to remember that each and every person has a very different coping mechanism, has a very different way of coping through difficult situations. And when you realize that somebody else is struggling, especially somebody who is close to us, it is a natural tendency to try and offer help. But sometimes, no matter what we say, is never enough. Because if a person has a certain belief system, then they have to work on it themselves to come out of it. No matter what you tell them is never going to be, is never going to change anything. And I'm sure you must have tried a lot yourself, being a brother. What I would suggest is the practices that you have learned today and before in the previous session,
Mm-hmm.
you can offer these to her, right? So that
Yeah.
she herself develops compassion for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we don't have compassion for ourselves, we don't accept compassion from anyone else, right? We don't have the capacity to accept that love and that compassion and that acceptance from others, which is why it's so important to first develop and inculcate that compassion for ourselves, right? So the practices, I think, we including today, we've learned about 4 very powerful practices, right? We learned about affectionate breathing, we learned about soften, soothe, and love. Today we learned about
Rain.
rain, and then we learned about the practice that we did at the end, which was to motivate ourselves. So all the 4 practices that you have learned,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you offer them to her, that she can use these in her life to create that compassion within her? And once she's able to do that, then she will also be, I'm sure, able to accept compassion and love and help from others. right?
Very true, ma'am. I just have a follow-up question. I have been part of many groups as well. I've been following a couple of schools of thought. I am quite lucky to have been a part of these, and I'm practicing such things. It becomes difficult to persuade others to do that, and I think you are very well aware of that. खुद का तो हो जाता है, खुद को तो हम कर पाते हैं, बट किसी को बेटा ऊपर से एमबीए कर रही है तो उसमें टाइम वैसे ही कम होता है, रात को 4 बजे सोना, सुबह 6 बजे उठ जाना. दिस बिकम्स अ चैलेंज इन इटसेल्फ. हाउ डू आई परsuade कि भी थोड़ा टाइम निकाल, थोड़ा अपने पे फोकस कर और थोड़ा इसको सोच, तभी तेरी वही होता है ना कि मैम जल्दबाजी लगी थी, टाइम नहीं है, टाइम नहीं है, टाइम नहीं है, ये कैसे कर लूंगी. If you have an answer for that, I'll be very grateful to you. How to persuade?
When my clients come and tell me कि आप हमें कोई तरीका बताओ to कि हम दूसरों को कैसे समझा सकें, I always tell them one thing, that there is no, and this is something that I've learned from my teachers and people who've taught me, is that there is no bigger authority than experience. So when she actually is able to see transformation in you,
Okay.
she is able to see how her brother has transformed himself into a very loving, into a very compassionate being, right? Then she will, I'm sure, have more of a listening ear to you.
Okay.
And another thing is that when we persuade other people to change, we can make an attempt to help them understand why is it that we want them to try, and to have a very objective effort, objectivity enough in our effort. What I mean by that is that if you come from this intention कि ये change हो जाए ताकि मेरी problem solve हो जाए और मुझे इसके बारे में ना सोचना पड़े, then the other person is able to gauge that, because it's all about the intention that you have, right?
True.
आपको लगता है कि मेरी बहन ठीक हो जाए ताकि ये मेरे सर से उतर जाए, तो फिर वो वाले को पता चल जाता है.
That's
right?
partly true.
You have to check within yourself that why do I really want to help her for her? If that is my true intention, then it is surely is going to reach her.
Thank you so much.
All right, ma'am. I guess our audience might be having literally a very big and long list of questions. We can do one thing, because due to the dearth of time, we can do one thing. We have put our email in the chat box. Those who are having questions, they can directly send it to our mail ID, and we can then later post it to Saruti ma'am, and she can answer it later if that is feasible for her. And I guess Shelza ma'am is saying to put up the very last question of Rashi, and this would be our last question. At the same time, please kindly try to keep your questions a little short, because we are literally running out of time. Thanks so much. Please, Rashi, unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hi, Rashi.
मैम मुझे ये कंफर्म करना जानना चाहती हूँ मैं आपसे, मैम हाउ कैन वी इंक्रीज आवर कंसंट्रेशन पावर?
So I work with a lot of students, and they all have this very same problem, right? And I tell them, it's a very deep question. It has a very long answer, but to summarize it in 1 minute, understand where are your leakages happening, right? आप ग्लास है मेरे पास, अगर इसमें होल्स रहेंगे, मैं कितना भी पानी भरूंगी तो वो पानी निकल जाएगा बाहर, right? So try to understand where are the leakages. Where am I spending my attention? Because attention is always limited. We all have been gifted with very limited attention, right? So try to understand where is it that I'm actually giving my attention, And can I lovingly redirect myself back using the practices that you've been taught? Can you redirect yourself back? Because अगर आप पढ़ाई पे ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हो तो आप कहीं और ध्यान दे रहे हो, तो वो कहीं और कहाँ ध्यान दे रहे हो उसको जानना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। और अगर आपने एक बार वो रिकग्नाइज कर लिया तो फिर उसको अपने मन को वापस लाना बहुत जरूरी होता है, बहुत प्यार से, बहुत अटेंशन के साथ। So again, the 4 practices that I've taught you, use those to redirect your mind. But before that, you will have to sit with yourself and understand कि अगर आपका ध्यान, concentration पढ़ाई में नहीं जा रहा है तो वो जा कहाँ रहा है, और वो उस एरिया को आइडेंटिफाई करके फिर अपने आप को वहां से वापस लाना है, राइट?
Yeah,
Thank you
okay.
so much, ma'am, for your answer.